Welcome to my first daily episode of Daily Apple Tech News. So I'm going to start off this episode with talking about connectivity when it comes to the new iPhones coming out next year. So, as I think a lot of you know, outside of America, that Apple hasn't included any millimeter wave 5G antennas at all in non-US phones. So currently, if you live out of the US, you just have the normal, I think it's sub 6G gigahertz, 6G something, gigahertz, uh, antenna frequency, whatever you call it. And it seems to be that from next year, all iPhones will be getting, all iPhones around the world will be getting some sweet millimeter wave 5G that no one will be able to access just because you need direct line of sight. So, in a way, even having this won't even be that useful for most, but there you go. Another thing I want to talk about is John Processor was recently, a couple months ago, was able to show some nice 3D images of the Apple AirTags, the mythical Apple AirTags that was supposed to be released months and months ago. But one interesting tidbit he found recently is that someone was able to leak to him a video of AirTags, the kind of animation you see when you have a new Apple device connected to an iPhone. You see that little thing pop up, kind of like with AirPods. So it's starting to look more and more real. So it will probably be a thing, and it'll probably come out pretty much when Samsung does their own one, probably next month. So the next thing I want to talk about is another thing to do with future iPhones. So currently, with just the iPhone 12 Pros, they have LiDAR scanners which can be used for measuring stuff or taking 3D models of the world, or having better night photography. Looks like all iPhones are going to get it. So that's kind of interesting. It looks like Sony is going to be supplying it until at least 2023 to Apple. So it seems that Apple really does care about everything in regards to augmented reality, which will link quite nicely to another thing I'll talk about in a minute. But another thing I want to kind of talk about is it looks like Apple is going to be going to take advantage of the GAN based kind of technology, something nitride. I'm not sure what it stands for, but basically allows them to make smaller chargers. So it looks like Apple finally be using this technology to make their humongous Mac chargers a little smaller. Especially with our Macs, they could probably be even more smaller than that. And the last rumor, and the most interesting one, comes from pretty much the most famous Apple analyst, and it's Minji Kuo. So he's basically saying 2021 is the year of AirTags, which kind of makes sense. I mean, they've been ready since last year, so they should probably release it now. Probably March time, I would guess. Another thing is, he says that there will be mini LED iPads and MacBooks next year, which makes sense when it comes to that kind of new technology. Seems to me like it's coming up next year. And the most interesting part of that rumor is pretty much that. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is looks like those AirPod Pro Lite things that were mentioned last year, that are probably just normal AirPods, are going to be released this year. So that's pretty cool. They'll look just like AirPod Pros, but they'll just be AirPods. So maybe no noise cancellation, maybe silicon ear tips. I'm not really sure. And the very last thing is, it looks like Apple's going to be releasing their first AR device, so augmented reality, but there's no details on it. So are they augmented reality speakers, which makes no sense to me because they already released the AirPods Max? But yeah, the most basic guess is it's either a VR headset, which is VR, not AR, so that sounds weird, or it's like a true AR device, like glasses or some kind of goggles. So that would be really interesting. I'm not sure how good it will be. It'll probably be pretty meh considering the first Apple Watch. So yeah, but it's going to be super interesting. The previous rumors were this device wouldn't get announced until 2023. So unless it's a really, really different product, Apple's actually pushing ahead with this brand new technology. And with that, I'd like to end my daily episode, and hopefully I'll carry this on as the weeks go by. Thank you for watching.